All scrubbed up and good as new, sir.
Wish it were that easy.
Anson Mount's arrival in the world of Star Trek could have very easily devolved into stunt casting if it wasn't handled correctly, but instead, the return of Christopher Pike, the original captain of the USS Enterprise, didn't just make for a great season of Star Trek Discovery, it also led to the spin-off series Strange New Worlds, which we now know as Season 1 closes out, is the best single season of a Star Trek show since the legendary 1990s runs of The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Relax, cadet. It's tradition.
Hazing the newbie?
All in good fun. We get bored. It's a small ship.
You know, it's really not.
One of the keys to the success of Strange New Worlds' 10-episode debut season is its willingness to embrace standalone weekly stories as opposed to season-long arcs. This, combined with a deep bench of instantly likable characters, has led to high-adventure, emotional gut punches, plenty of humor, and one of the key elements of Star Trek that has sometimes been lost in the modern era: good old-fashioned exploration. Sometimes that has meant Pike, Spock, and the crew encountering wonders such as the comet in Episode 2, which they think is going to wipe out a planet's inhabitants before realizing that somehow they were predestined to not just save the planet, but make it a seemingly better place for its people to live too. But there have also been horrors, like in Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach, when the Enterprise has dealings with a race who, well, sacrifice children in order to power their world. We also got Run Silent, Run Deep style combat stories, pirate adventures, a body swap comedy, an alien predator riff, and so much more as Season 1 played out. And for every new alien race or awesome space station, there's a bit of that old Trek social commentary playing just under the surface. It's there, but it never hits you over the head like a misaligned phaser blast. Front and center throughout it all is of course Mount, whose relaxed, take it as it goes, let me make you an omelet style of captaining certainly separates him from his predecessors. Pike, like most of the other main characters on the show, actually does get a season-long arc here, as he struggles with the foreknowledge that he will one day be horribly injured in an accident. Should he change his future now that he knows about it? While the show doesn't dwell on the question, we get periodic check-ins with Pike on the matter over the course of the 10 episodes, before things culminated in the season finale as he got the chance to see how badly he could affect the galaxy if he deviated from his destiny. So, Strange New Worlds actually did have its long-form stories to tell, but they weren't about space MacGuffins or the like. Instead, it was Cadet Uhura's journey to discovering that the Enterprise was where she truly was meant to be, or Lan Noonien Singh coming to terms with her own status as a refugee of the Gorn. And then, of course, there's Ethan Peck's Spock, whose destination as original series Leonard Nimoy Spock is perhaps the most predetermined of the group. Here, particularly in the 9th episode, as the crew suffers a great loss, we see Spock struggling to contain his emotions once he gives in to them, a clear indication of why he will eventually shut himself off entirely from the same. As for that loss, the death of Bruce Horak's Hemmer was a surprising moment that, as hard as it is to accept, Hemmer was an instant favorite, reminds us that most of these characters aren't safe. Is there a reason Rebecca Romijn's Una Chin Riley, aka Number 1, isn't still on the Enterprise by the time Kirk takes over? Maybe she just got a transfer, or maybe the answer is more dire than that. Certainly, the mini cliffhanger in the final moments of this season indicates that Una is in trouble at the moment. The show occasionally leans a little too hard on homage to the other great Star Trek and sci-fi tales, and the jury is still out on Paul Wesley's rather dry take on Captain Kirk. But by and large, Strange New Worlds has managed to carve out its own place in Trekdom, even though it exists in an era of the franchise that we thought we already knew. Plus, they gave Pike the classic green captain's tunic, and you just can't go wrong there. Star Trek Strange New Worlds' first season manages to recapture the joy of classic Trek in a way that perhaps many of us didn't know was missing until we experienced the show. Emotional, exciting, funny, and sometimes scary, this is a final frontier that is both old school and brand new, featuring great characters who all get their fair share of the action. In many ways, Star Trek has come full circle with Strange New Worlds after 55 years of storytelling, and it's all the better for it. For more on Strange New Worlds, check out our Captain Pike timeline. It's a timeline to tragedy. And for everything else, set your phasers to IGN.